What if I told you that who you think you are is a lie? In this video, I'm going to explain the truth and the lie about who you are and why it's important for your development. Keep watching. This is Life Mastery Gym. I'm Damon and I teach people just like you cutting-edge NLP techniques to help you master your life so that you can take charge of your destiny. So if that sounds good, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. What if you could design who you want to become and then make it happen? By the end of this video, you're going to understand how to do this. For years, I've worked on myself, my own self-concept, and I've helped hundreds of clients develop their self-concept so that they could do the same thing. And this is something I can teach you. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to show you how to take this even deeper with a free checklist. The first part of this understanding is really about understanding the truth of who you are. But before I get into that, I'm curious about you. Do you feel like your sense of self, who you are, is a solid, immovable thing, or does it feel more fluid, like something that can easily change? Let me know in the comments below. When we think of ourselves, we tend to think of ourselves as a thing, a fact, an irrefutable entity living in the universe. But that's actually a lie, and that's a lie that we tell ourselves. You're well aware of words like ego, self-image, personality, and these are all words that we use to reference who we are. Another word that I like to use, that I prefer to use, is self-concept, because self-concept bears no negative connotation to it. A lot of times people will say things like my ego, and we tend to automatically think that that's a negative thing. But really, ego is rather neutral. In a sense, it is a self-concept. They're pretty much the same thing. And also, people refer to their self or their sense of self as a self-image. But the truth is we have more than just images that we use to create our sense of self. What is a concept? Is it real? No, actually it's not. That's why we call it a concept. Otherwise, it would be maybe a fact, or it would be a noun that points to an object that you can pick up and take somewhere. But your self-concept is not that. By definition, a concept is not something that is tangible. So a self-concept is not actually real. However, self-concept is the think about the paradox. But if you think about it, think about all of the things that have come and gone in your life. Your thoughts have come and gone, your beliefs have come and gone. You don't believe and think the same things that you did maybe 5 or 6 years ago, certainly not when you were a child. Those have come and gone. And there have been so many external things that have come and gone in your life. Jobs, people, objects, toys, cars, you name it. All these things are coming and going, both internally and externally, but the one thing that has been there the whole time, ever since that you can remember, is your sense of self. So that sense of self, though it's conceptual, is actually the only reality you've ever known. So why do I call it a lie? Well, that's because you can never truly, possibly know who you are, and no one else can. The truth is that you are only basing what you feel of yourself or what you sense of yourself on a belief or a generalization or a concept, whatever it is that you want to call it. You cannot possibly step outside of yourself and then get to know yourself. And if you could do that, then you're not on the inside to also know yourself. So this is why other people can't tell you who you are. No one else can truly know who you are because they're on the outside. They can only observe you. And then from the inside, you can only know yourself from the inside. So this is what I mean by your sense of self is only a concept. You cannot possibly know who you are, and no one else can possibly know who you are. We just get bits and pieces of information, and based on that bits and pieces of information, we build a construct. We use beliefs and generalizations to build a sense of self. And this is why I call it a lie, because it can never absolutely be true. If something is true, then we call it a fact, not a concept. Because it's a concept, and because we fill in the gaps about who we are and our sense of reality with beliefs and generalizations, it can never actually be the truth. And a fact is not partially true. For a fact to be a fact, it has to be 100% true. It can't be 50% true, or it can't be 90% true. If something's 90% true but 10% false, then it's not a fact. It's not a truth. And so our sense of self, our self-concept, even though it may be as accurate as it can possibly be, it can never tell the whole truth about who you are. Therefore, it is not true. And that's why I call it a lie. Now, maybe not a lie is not the best word to use, but it certainly is provocative. It certainly gets people's attention. So if you're going to live a lie, then you may as well live the best possible lie you can possibly live. So if no matter what, you can never know the complete truth of who you are, you might as well take what you do know and take what you don't know and the beliefs and the generalizations you create that form your self-concept and live it and make it the best that you possibly can. So then the question becomes, how do you take all of that and live a life where you feel confident, where your self-esteem is high, where you live an intentional, meaningful, purposeful life, where you experience lots of happiness, lots of joy, and lots of peace? As I'm sure you're beginning to realize, the questions I'm asking here are really big questions that have lots of philosophical and metaphysical implications to them. But in actuality, these questions actually do have very practical answers to them. Unfortunately, I can't give you all the answers I know to those questions in a short video. I've created entire trainings on answering those questions in very, very practical ways and using ways that you can, implement this in your life and actually make it work, not just come from a philosophical understanding or an intellectual understanding, but ways of actually implementing this so that it works and you experience life differently and you experience yourself differently. But what I can tell you is some healthy ways in which to develop your self-concept. And what you want to do is, so like I said, your self-concept is not the truth, but you want it to be as accurate as possible. That's really, really important. The less accurate it is, the more delusional you become, the less attached to actual reality you are. So that's not going to help you. So you want it to be accurate, not perfect, but accurate. You also want your sense of self to be rich with resources. So we have so many resources within us. Most of the time, the problems that we encounter come from when we cut ourselves off from our resources, when we get stressed, when we get panicked. These are all ways in which we lose touch with our internal resources because we're so focused on something, or we're so stressed in a certain way focuses you in a certain way that makes you less resourceful. So having a self-concept that is very resourceful will help you tremendously. And then having a sense of choice. We tend to think that we lack choices, especially when we're experiencing a problem. But the truth is there are always choices. And sometimes we have to dig deep within ourselves to realize what our true choices are. So always creating a sense of choice in our life. That will give us a much better sense of freedom. And with that will come a much better sense of peace, joy, and happiness. So another thing that you want to have in your self-concept is flexibility and resilience. You want to be able to experience something that maybe doesn't feel too good, but come right back from it, be able to bounce right back, be able to be more flexible and more adaptable. The more flexible and adaptable you are, the more likely you will succeed in whatever it is that you want. In fact, if you look at people who succeed in impossible situations, or people, and even in competitions, who always win, the person who's winning or the person who succeeds is always going to be the person who is most adaptable and most flexible. So bring adaptability and flexibility into your self-concept, and that alone will make you so much more resilient. When you think about what it is that you want in your life, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, ask yourself, who do you need to become in order to have those things? We spend a lot of time focused on these external things that we want, whether it's success, whether it's making lots of money or having great social connections. We have a tendency to focus so much outwardly that we never stop to consider that. Who do I need to become in order to have those things? What kind of self-concept would I have when I have those things? What choices can you create for yourself that would enable you to have the things that you want? What resources would you need in order to have them? How might you become more versatile and more flexible so that you can welcome these things into your life, or that you can flex around the obstacles that you're experiencing now, the problems that you're experiencing now, the limitations that you're experiencing now? How can you bounce back from that and overcome them so that you can have what it is that you want? And last but not least, how do you stay grounded? How do you accurately know who you are and who you're becoming, that you're getting closer to those things? We have to stay grounded. A lot of times people try this fake it till you make it sort of thing, and I assure you that does not work well. And using affirmations, which most of those are more destructive than they are productive. So how do you stay accurate and be able to measure that you are becoming that person who has the things that you want? It's okay if you don't have all the answers to these questions. It's more important right now that you're asking these questions. The answers will come later. But for now, just focus on the questions. Ask the question, and it's not like you need an answer right now. Just sort of ask the question. Open up those channels for the answers to come to you. And eventually, you will start getting answers. You will start getting information from inside, from your unconscious, that will let you know what it is you need to transform yourself into the you want to become, so that you can live the life that you want to live. Now you know how to develop your self-concept, but what you don't know are the elements of a healthy self-concept. That's why I created a free PDF that you can get your hands on right now. If you go to the link in the description right down here, or in the pinned comment at the top right here, you'll see a link. Just click that link and you can get immediate access to this PDF that are the elements of a healthy self-concept. Very, very important in becoming the person you want to be in order to live the life that you want to live. So after watching this video, what are you going to do differently? What are you going to do that's new? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and I will respond to you. If you like this video, make sure you click the like button right down here. And if you want more of these videos and you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that by clicking the subscribe button and the bell. If you know of someone who you think would like this video, make sure you share it with them. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.